Welcome to the Money Down Podcast. I'm James White, along with Sojourn Sheldon, Warren Herron. We'll be breaking down the divisional playoff games this weekend. We had some good games. I know the wild card weekend wasn't as competitive, but the divisional round was pretty impressive. Ravens, Texas will be the first game we go over. I thought it was a good football game. You know, So talked about he thought the Texans had a really good chance to win this one. They came out that first half. They was ready to go second half. You know, they didn't really have nothing left in the tank. So I don't know what y'all thoughts on the Ravens-Texans game this past weekend.
Yeah, you kind of knew that the Texans was going to have to play a out-of-body experience type game just because, a lot of the weapons that they had on the offensive side of the ball, they lost due to injuries, this year. But I think they came out strong, like going into halftime, going in 10-10. I just think, bro, and it's a tough task for any NFL team, but they ain't have an answer for that boy LJ, number 8. They ain't had no answer for him, man. I don't want to take, I don't want to put too much blame because he ain't an easy person to stop, you know what I'm saying, or game plan for, or any of that. So shout out to LJ and the Ravens and that, that offensive line, just that whole unit, and then that defensive unit, man. They went out there and, CJ's been playing so strong the whole year, right? Like what he did to the Cleveland Browns, which we've been hearing for the longest, is a Super Bowl contending defense. What he was able to do to them, and then you kind of just felt like, all right, if he can have another week like that, they had a shot, but they stopped all that from the jump. So, shout out to the Ravens, man. They dangerous. They want to win. They want to win.
This definitely could be the Ravens year, man. Like, they look really good. They're firing on all cylinders. Obviously a couple injuries here and there, but people are stepping up. Guys making plays. That defense, like, you got a Texans team that has played phenomenal all year. CJ Stroud first year, shouts out to him. He had a decent game, but that defense is going to be tough to deal with in these playoffs. So I'm really looking forward to watching this defense continue to play well. And I mean, we all know what Lamar Jackson bringing to the table. So that's always going to be a tough out every week. So it was going to be a tough game for Houston either way. But I love watching it, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans, they came out ready to play, like I said, going into halftime. They started to heat Lamar up a little bit. It seemed like either he was confused or the line was confused. They're bringing edge pressure, getting to him. And then, they talked about a little bit at halftime or post-game that Lamar went in there at halftime, was telling everybody kind of, tighten up a little bit. He'll come out right after halftime, walking down the field, and they really just locked in and got into that boat. It's a fun team to watch, though. They really have, all the pieces you need to win a Super Bowl offensively and defensively. If they're playing at their best, man, they hard to spot, especially with Lamar, man. Whether it's throwing, running, that he looks like he trying to get what he came there to get as a Super Bowl. Then we'll go to this next game, the Packers versus the 49ers. Man, I thought the Packers, man, they just like the Texans, they playing with house money, going up against number one seed. They had the game. They probably played one of their better football games for about up until like midway through the fourth quarter, and then it just started to slip away. They had Brock Purdy uncomfortable. I know it was raining and everything, but he had a lot of off-target throws, and they made it tough on him, and they made the 49ers play from behind. That's how you got to play that football team. You don't want to let them jump out on you. You got to see if Brock Purdy can make those throws and all that, but I thought they had this football game, man. Because
they did, bro.
That missed field goal, I want to say hurt. In the fourth quarter to go up 7, it would have been, because it was up 4 to go up 7. And I don't never, we all play football. We know, man, you got 4 quarters for, to execute in multiple plays and multiple ways to just put it all on one play or one missed field goal. But I think that miss was really the turning point. And within the game, you can feel that momentum starting to creep back. Like, man, hey, we got to go out there and get one more drive, or we got to go out there and make a play. Like, you just felt that momentum of the 49ers starting to creep back. The crowd started getting back into the game. And I think that was the shift. Between that Packers team, taking a loss right here.
Yeah, for sure. It was so good to see the Packers, play like we know they could. I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, I personally had the Packers winning this game. I mean, they had been playing very well coming up with those last few weeks of the season, proving who they were and whatnot. But, I mean, you got to give it to San Fran being able to gut it out, make the stops when they needed to. My biggest thing was the last play of the game, bro. We talked about it in the chat. It's like, why? And, I'm going to be the first one to say, I'm not a quarterback, bro. I don't know what it's like with the game on the line. line. You know, you got everything on your shoulders. You're a young quarterback. You're trying to make something happen. But I just felt like that was so unnecessary, bro.
Yeah.
Run the ball, you know,
Throw it away.
continue to extend the play, throw it out, throw it away, let yourself, you know, give yourself another chance. But you throwing in, there's like 3 people in the air, 3 San Francisco players in the area. It's like, bro, why? Like, what makes you want to do something like that? But again, I mean, it was a great game to watch. Like, really, like, it was probably, in my opinion, it was the best game to watch out of the 4 that we saw, or that played this past weekend.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch for sure. I thought the last play, obviously, he's a young quarterback, man. Sometimes you get a little bit too confident, you know, in your ability, especially in that type of situation. Like they say, pressure busts pipes, and right there, he just made a decision that obviously he definitely would love to take back. Then we jump into the Lions and Bucks game. This was a good football game right here. I thought it would be a tough matchup for the Lions, you know, in their defense. And our guy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you know, get that interception. You talking his shit, you know, before the game.
You know he talking that gas.
He backed it up, got him a pick, flipped the ball to Baker and everything. I just knew he was going to get a pick this game after the way he was talking. But I say this kid's he's a good football player. He's one of those guys that obviously you love him if he on your team.
If he
ain't on your team, you want to box him. That's just the way it goes. So, you know, Jared Goff came to play. You know, I love watching this one with Jahmyr Gibbs. I know a lot of people, you know, were talking about him being drafted, you know, at number 12 overall to the Lions. That kid really showed some stuff this past weekend, running the football, catching the football. Yep. He definitely has a bright future, especially with that speed. You know how dangerous he could be. So I don't know what you guys like from that game, Lions versus Bucks.
Man, Jahmyr was a game changer, bro. I really enjoy watching him tote the rock, man. But enjoy watching him carry the ball all year. I mean, that's a complete team. They're gonna be tough. Hey. They're gonna be tough in the playoffs, and it's about time, right? Detroit normally trash. So, like, to be able to see them put the pieces together, Dan Campbell doing his thing with his team, and I love seeing a former player at the head coach as a head coach having success, bro. Like, you love seeing that. The Bucks played a great game, bro. Yeah. Baker had a really good game. Obviously, a couple mistakes, you know, throwing that pick and things like that. But I mean, Mike Evans, big time playmaker, had a huge game, bro. Had a huge game, bro.
Hey, Mike's still trying to get paid again.
He said he was trying to re-up.
After this year that he had, even with, you know, the age or whatever the case is, he definitely deserved it. But man, hats off to Detroit, dog. Like, I seen something today that was like the last time they was in, you know, the NFC Championship game or something, like the iPod wasn't invented. 4 people on the team weren't even born yet. I think it was like Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, and like 4 people weren't even born yet. But like you said, Warren, they are a complete team, and I hate putting predictions out there, but bro, I think what gives them problems is elite passing teams, right?
Yeah.
Like, they can stop the run. They got a good and elite pass. In my opinion, Aiden is elite. He's
an elite pass rusher.
He's an elite pass rusher. Yeah. And then you go to the offense side of the ball. They can throw the ball and they can run the ball. Now, if Jared Goff can maintain the, you know, just play within the game, be a game changer, which is not bad, right? Be a game manager. And you know what I'm saying? And that secondary can hold up. I don't see any more of the 3 remaining teams. I don't see any elite passing team that I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that I feel like is going to really threaten them. So it sounds crazy, but man, we could have Detroit holding that Lombardi at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to this game between San Fran and Detroit. And, you know, the rest of the playoffs is these next 2 games is good matchups for us. We got good matchups.
It's going to be fun to watch. And then the finale, I know our guy Matt, man, I know he was tight about this one.
Sorry, man.
Chiefs versus Bills, man. It was definitely another one of those for the books. You know, Mahomes gets our guy Josh Allen once again in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I know the Bills were banged up, but I thought they played tough. You know, Mahomes, he was a little off kilter early, but he started to heat it up. Rashid Rice was making plays. Pacheco, you know, was doing his thing. You know, doing running through stuff. They were putting his feet in the ground, running hard. You know, the Chiefs defense stepped up. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on Chiefs versus Bills. Like I thought Josh Allen played a really good game. I know he missed like a few throws towards the end or made a couple of bad decisions, but like I said, he was trying to play like Superman out there. Had to throw the digs that could have been a catch. Had to throw the Sherfield, could have been a catch there. So I don't know what's you guys' thoughts on that one.
I mean, a good game, right? Like a good game for the ages, dog. Like you said, it took Mahomes to start off a little slow, and he threw the game, but that's what champions do, right? Like they find a way that you game plan. These first 2 quarters are usually game plan, and you sitting there and you're trying to figure out how defense are attacking you, and then once you figure it out, the great ones, right? Tom Brady, the Peyton Mannings, once they figure out what you're doing on the defense side of the ball, you're pretty much at their mercy, and I think that's what Pat was able to do. I'm a real big Spags guy with KC's D coordinator, and I think people don't understand the type of looks and different coverages that he shows. And, when he's able to confuse you for those 1 or 2 key possessions, right? In the playoffs, everything's get tighter. You used to having 5-6 possessions in the NFL game. Now you might have, 4, 3 or 4. That's really important. And if I can get you and stop you and confuse you on 1 or 2 of those possessions, I can change the whole dictation of this game. So shout out to Spags. Buffalo Bills, they played a good game, but sometimes you just come up short. Got to get back to the drawing boards. Got to always, figure out what it is, what can get you over that hump, and take another shot at it next year.
For sure. I think for Buffalo, man, they gotta capitalize on those turnovers, man. They got a couple of big turnovers going their way and just couldn't capitalize. And then also on the other thing is like being able to adjust. I don't think they were making enough adjustments to put themselves in positions to score. Like they had a couple of drops toward the end of the game, ended up in 3 and outs, and they had good field position, things like that. Kansas City made adjustments, shutting down the run a little bit in the second half.
That's the difference.
I think that was a difference. And we talked about it, like how important the run game is. And for Kansas City to be able to stop that, it really cut off a lot of what Buffalo could do to put points on the board. So, I mean, shout out to Kansas City on the big game. I personally love watching Pat Mahomes play, man. He's a playmaker. He extends plays well. He's got a big arm. He's the best quarterback in the game right now. Obviously started off a little bit slow, but you know how he is in the playoffs. So excited to see what he does next week.
Yeah, I thought that was really the difference. Buffalo was running the ball at their own will the first half, and that's different from Buffalo. They want to see Josh Allen drop back and throw it. James Cook was running it. A couple of the other backs were doing their thing. They really were getting Spags out of his zone. He want to get you in 3rd and long and dial up his exotic stuff, get some pressures, corner blitzes, and all that stuff. But if you're able to run the football, you can keep him out of that. But in the second half, Chiefs defense started slow to run down, and the Bills couldn't really throw the football, got a couple 3 and outs and all that. So that's really was a difference. A big thing that I want to talk about is, McCole Hardman had the 2 fumbles, had the one where he's trying to reach the ball out, trying to score in that situation. But there's people talking about the rule might get changed for that touchback, or it's going to be coming into question. How do y'all feel about that rule?
No way.
I don't think it needs to be changed. If you're going to reach the ball out to try and score in that situation, the ball deserves to go to the other team if you fumble through the end zone.
Right.
I don't know why in the world they would change that. I don't know what you guys thoughts on that.
You seen Buffalo a couple years ago, made some complaints about the overtime rule, and they changed it for them. So I think this is one of these situations, right? Like there's been some games decided on these type of things. But James, you can attest to this. Now that Bill's no longer the head coach of New England, but you can attest like that's a rule in that building. Like don't reach out for the pylon, because if we lose this, that's your ass. You get what I'm saying? So, we just got teams just gotta, guys and teams just gotta preach that and understand that, certain things can cost you and put you in situations where you lose the ball, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I think you think about it right now, like, for example, right now, a fumble. I mean, obviously, it's a game changing thing. But truth be told, like in between the end zones, it benefits the offense if it's fumbled forward, right? Yeah. Like for example, if ball rolls out of bounds, goes past first down line, that's first down. right?
Yeah.
Like defense doesn't get the ball. So at what point does the defense benefit
Yeah.
from punching the ball out in a
Facts.
crucial situation? So if they punch it out, that thing go out the back of the end zone. The rule has to say you have to be able to award the defense for making a play in the red zone. Because otherwise, if it happens and it continues to roll down the field and go out of bounds, it's offense ball, first down, continue keep it moving, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to be able to allow the defense to be able to benefit off of that.
Yeah, man. They simple as put, they can't change that.
Right.
They're doing too much to help the offense these days. But finally, championship weekend.
Ooh.
Who do y'all like? First, we'll go Chiefs at Ravens. Who y'all like in this matchup?
Bro, it's so hard. And the football in me is I am really gonna be interested in looking into the chess match between coordinators. And I hit about it a little bit earlier with Spags. Like, and people don't understand, this man will show you cover zero and be in two invert where the corner's pushing to the half, the safety might be pushing here, the nickel might be blitzing. All of it goes against all the rules. And I think Spags is going to make it an emphasis this whole week that if we can figure out how to, I won't say stop Lamar, but slow him down and slow that run game down, and he has to beat us throwing. And I'm not saying Lamar can't, because he can. But when you think about just like the game plan aspect of it, and I'm playing this person, like I got to figure out what I can make a weakness or exploit maybe a weakness. And that's going to be my key in this game. If Lamar comes out and he can Spag shows him all these different looks and he doesn't get confused and he can make these throws, and also he can also contribute a little bit in the run game, which they're going to try and take away, I got the Ravens. But we gonna see, man. A piece of me just want to go KC because you know what you're facing. It's like Patrick Mahomes has become the Brady of the NFL, where you don't bet your money against. You just know don't bet your money against Brady. Like you never could count him out, and that's who Patrick Mahomes is. So I'm gonna go Ravens, but it's gonna be an interesting game.
They play in the bank, right?
Yeah.
They play in the hey, we in the bank. Me see me outside the bank. Be more. Nah, bro. I mean, and we also talked about this before too. We talk about it in our text group and things like that. But being indoors and outdoors, right? Now it's a fair game. You indoors. Bank is indoors.
It's outdoors. Outdoors.
No, it's outdoors.
Oh, I'm tripping. My bad. Never mind. Well, anyway. My thing is gonna be Baltimore's defense, bro. Baltimore's defense is dominant, bro. They can press you. They can get pressure. They got really good coverage on the outside. They can play really good man defense, and they linebackers can cover. So I'm really interested to see how Pat Mahomes is going to be able to get the ball to his top option, because you got Pat Queen and you got Roquan Smith, and them boys are very good in coverage. So being able to see that Travis Kelce and that linebacker matchup is going to be one to see. Also, that run game, how you going to get the run game established? Because the Ravens, they big up front too. Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how the Ravens defense going to play Kansas City. But I got the Ravens winning.
Yeah, I like the Ravens as well. I think it's Lamar's year. It's going to be a game where he's going to have to read those coverages right. Those receivers going to have to read coverages right, and I think that's going to be the difference. Baltimore's receivers going to have to step it up this week, whether it's catching short passes, making guys miss. I feel like they're going to try and force the ball out of Lamar's hands quick, whatever it is, or maybe they'll drop 8. I don't know. He'll mix it up and try and confuse them as much as possible. But I also like the matchup, the Ravens defense, against those Kansas City Chiefs receivers. And especially I like Kyle Hamilton, that matchup against Kelce. That's going to be a big fun one to watch, a big challenge for the second-year player. See if they try and match him up in the slot a bunch against Kelce. See if they get Marlon Humphrey back this week from injury. I like the Ravens in that one. The last one, Lions at 49ers. Who y'all liking this?
Hey, I know we talked about CJ, right? Talking shit to Baker. But that CJ and Debo little beef side situation. I don't know if y'all remember it a couple of months ago. I think both of them I think CJ was hurt. I remember him going on Instagram Live and them boys chirping and saying, he had him saying he can't run routes. And all,
we gonna see.
So we definitely gonna see, man. piece of me, man, I want to go Detroit, dog. I'm with the Motown. I'm with the Motown on this one, man. It's just like you said with Lamar, like how it's been such a magical year for the Ravens. I feel like it's been like that for Detroit, right? Like they've been on that cusp of the NFC was a little bit tougher this year, as far as like the top heavy teams, but they've been on that cusp where they could have been a 2 seed, they could have been a 1 seed, right? Like they end up being a 3 seed, but they were always in that hunt of being, that top team in the NFC. And I just think right now the way the teams are matched up, I think they got the upper hand, man. If those guys can come out and play solid in the secondary, and Purdy has another game that he had like last week, the 49ers in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been like that too. It's been like that, toward the end of the season. Like Purdy's been a little up and down. So definitely I think Purdy's gonna be the X factor for the Niners. I have Detroit winning, because I think their defense is gonna be able to cause some havoc, especially up front. I think Aiden Hutchinson's gonna be able to get to the quarterback, frustrate Brock Purdy a little bit. So I'm excited to watch that game too.
I'm taking both number 1 seeds. I'm rolling with the 49ers, man. I think
all right.
I don't think it's going to be on Purdy. I think it's going to be CMC that's going to steal the day. I think he's been balling all year long. They're going to lean on him, whether they have Deebo Samuel or not. We'll see if the Lions can slow down their run game. And I just think that 49ers defense, man, I think they're going to make it extremely tough. They just got to slow those backs down. Obviously, Goff can hit they're going to have to stop Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the guy. Him and Laporta. You get those two guys, which I think they can, and they'll be all right. But that's going to be the challenge for this team. Last year they made it to this NFC Championship, lost all their quarterbacks. So I think they're really motivated to be in this situation right here and try and get to a bowl. And I think it's going to be a rematch, Ravens 49ers. I think that'll be an epic game, in the Super Bowl, man. I think that's going to be dope if those two teams make it. But Detroit definitely right there in it, man. They've had a magical year. They feel motivated. They believe. They definitely got a chance. I don't think it's going to be. I think both games will be decided at one of those final possessions type of weeks, man. I think it's going to be a great week of football.
Quick hitter. So the last 4 or 5 Super Bowls, if you looked at the logo, has matched the teams that have made the Super Bowl. Right after this, bro, we got to go and check it out. It's crazy. So, I know all that, the script is written and all that stuff like that. If the 49ers and the Ravens go to the Super Bowl, it's definitely some shit going on.
The script. Oh, man. Never know. We're going to see that. We'll check that out after this episode over, man. But that's a wrap for this week's Money Down podcast. I'm James White, Lawrence Jordan Shell, Warren Herron. Bring you NFL news, all football news, everything football, man. For a great weekend of football.
Show.